Today is end of term review. We are going to Brittany, and this is our plan. Let's see if we can stick to it. Let's get going now. Okay, so we are stopping already. We've got just 17 miles left and 15% of battery. We've driven an actual 86 miles, so much more than we were anticipating. And in fact, there was a bit of anxiety despite the 4 miles per kilowatt hours. At some point we were much lower than that. So we're stopping for about 10 minutes of recharge, not a problem, and we're gonna get to the Eurotunnel afterwards. And let's see what we get there. time to eat and make a stop here after this short motorway drive, 170 watt hours per kilometer, and we charged 19.5 kilowatt hours. And then we topped up with a little bit of AC because we've got a long stretch ahead. Let's see whether that becomes useful or not. Ionity Giberville now, and we are alone there, charging from 25% to 81%. It's taking 15 minutes. On the leg just completed, we did 3.9 miles per kilowatt hours on 63 miles, running at 60 miles an hour. So pretty good going. We've got one more stop to go afterwards, and then it's the home run. Okay, it's now time to debrief this journey. We started early at 5:35 in the morning with a full battery charged. 138 kilometers later, we were charging and topping up before taking the Eurotunnel. It was much longer than anticipated, and the wait at the Eurotunnel was extremely long because it's a vacation day. So we lost a lot of time there, but not much to do with driving an EV. We then came on the other side, but didn't have quite enough to get all the way to Beit Sam, where we were going to have our lunch. So we topped up to 85%. There was a slight glitch in that the speed wasn't quite what it should have been on the charger. But never mind, we then made it to Beit Sam, and the car was faster than we were in terms of we took more time for the lunch than the car took to get to 94% and even 96% with a little bit of an AC top up. We then messed around, frankly, my fault, and ended up doing this backup stop in the middle of nowhere in Neuville-Ferrière on a very nice little 2CCS 120 kilowatt charge point. And that then took us back onto the track, and then we were on a run of Ionity after Ionity, 85%, 81%, 83%, always charging, always very quick, always achieving the 60 kilowatt charging. So final part of the trip was very much what I would be expecting and what good looks like, but the result is that we ended up in Saint-Malo at 2041, so much later than what we wanted, in large part due to number one, vacation day, Eurotunnel being crowded with loads of folks going on vacation. Number two, human error. We took a few wrong turns, so my fault there. Number three, not very good GPS sat nav on the Hyundai. It took us onto the wrong roads a couple of times, not great there. And then of course, finally, if you're going to travel on the unhappy path, if you're going to drive more kilometers, it's going to take more time with an EV because you're going to have to recharge, you're going to have to pay for it with time. So now let's take a look at what it would have been if it had been a nice car. Right, so what about the ICE car estimate? Well, obviously we would have left at the same time. We think we would have gained maybe 20 minutes not having to stop and recharge. Maybe we would have got a slightly earlier Eurotunnel train across. That would have taken us without the need to stop at Ionity Coquel at 12:20 in Baie de Somme. Same lunchtime. This is where it would have made a big difference because no need to charge in between, and we would still have made a stop, a 20-minute stop, but we wouldn't have messed around as much trying to find a new location, going from the Leclerc to the Lidl and so on and so forth. And then finally we would have skipped one of the stops here, but we would still probably have done a very short switching stop towards the end, and that would have taken us to about 6:40 p.m. So about 2 hours less is my estimate of what we would have done, and that's just us really, on the ICE car. Now if you look at the overall, on the EV, obviously we did 160 watt hours per kilometer. The average for my diesel car before was 5.7, no reason why it shouldn't have been any different there. As we've said, it would have taken 2 hours less, but although we've been using the Ionity, and yes, I do have the subscription, this is still massively cheaper than buying diesel on the ICE car. So not only we did a no emission trip, but also it is cheaper. And frankly, the day was a bit of a write-off in terms of traveling for 14 hours or 12 hours. I'm not sure that makes such a huge difference. The stops are actually quite relaxing. So all in all, very unhappy about the journey. in many ways because it was long, it was frustrating, we went in the wrong directions, but equally very happy on the performance of the car itself and what it's delivered. I'm gonna wrap up here because we've been going on for 18 minutes now. Let me know what your thoughts are. Would you drive this distance? Would you do it with your Ioniq? Do you have another car? Have you not made the switch yet? And are you looking at loads of videos on YouTube to get a sense of whether you can drive those long distances? I'm very interested in all of that, so let me know in the comments. I've got loads of data about this trip. We're going to be doing the return trip too. So watch out for the Geek Corner video as well, because there's going to be another one with loads of stats and looking at all the data captured using Canon Ioniq and the OBD dongle. In the meantime, if you've been watching the whole video, thank you very much for that. Please subscribe and like. See you next time.